As you can see, this land has been suffering from major drought these past few years. We're here in Dubbo, New South Wales, my hometown, and family friend Mark Dan has agreed to share his experience of the drought, the effects it has had on his family and his friends, and also the advice he gives to those suffering from these harsh conditions. Well, Mark, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us about your story and your experiences of what's currently happening here in the Central West. I just wanted to ask, can you tell me how long roughly the Central West and surrounding areas have gone without water?
Yeah, sure, Tom. And also realise that what I say is an amateur, non-commercial, will be manifold multiplied for people professionally in this situation. But I've been feeding sheep here for 3.5 years, maybe a little longer, which is the dry has necessitated. So if you go north up past Walgett, up to Hebel and Gadooga, it's been 8-9 years, maybe more, and then less gradually as you come further south to Dubbo, and then I believe this year a line roughly south of Temora is somewhat green, but not the normal rainfall there either, but at least not a completely disastrous season.
Yeah. And now Dubbo has frequently been used in the media recently as kind of the main coverage for the drought in their segments. Do you feel like, expanding on what you've just said, that Dubbo is up there with one of the most affected, or do you feel like others have been affected more?
It's terrible here. It's as bad as it has ever been known. I find it very distressing that it's been hard on our country. That's the most upsetting thing. Our country was being managed well 250 years ago, which would have techniques and to see through dry periods like this more sustainably. But when areas are partitioned off and smaller in size, the pressure on those areas is higher, and the land suffers because of it. Yeah.
And another one I just wanted to ask is, what advice would you give to people experiencing the struggle of the drought, both farmers and locals in towns? Like, what advice would you give to help get them through it?
So yes, consult, ask people what they need, compare it to helping people in other industries, manufacturing industries, etc., where government assistance has been rendered, and see if there's an equivalent here that will be helpful. So I had to do some pruning, so I had some opportunity tree lopping to give some. We noticed that our Dorper sheep are like goats. They have an outlook and they graze herbage, right, and they get on their hind feet and graze up in the trees. So they eat gum leaves already. Okay. So rather than waste the green opportunity, we put them out here and they laid them bare in hours. And so now we're just getting rid of the remnants. We're going to collect a couple of netting bags from the black buckets, take them into the shed to fill them up with hay, and then return them to the horses. Over the long term, it's deficient in calcium, and all animals who eat pasture get vitamin C, which they might then store in their liver as vitamin A. After a few months they run out of that reserve, so they have to have something green to fix up their sight and their liver balance. So that being short of calcium and not much green, so we add a little bit of lucerne hay to it, which is full of nutrients and minerals, and green. So we just take a small offering of lucerne to put in with it. Yep. About some tail draggers that weren't ginger, weren't crocs. and here's one of them here. It's only a mid-sized one,
Yeah.
but blue tongues and shinglebacks, and in this case it's a shingleback. So
Yeah.
we'll go and have a closer look at him. I love seeing them,
Yeah.
and what we might do is we might get on the other side and hunt him away from the road. I don't want him squashed on the road.
Yep.
Yeah, so you go that side and I'll go this side.
Mark, is there any, like you spoke earlier about some of the ways that people can go about surviving this drought. Is there anything else that you wanted to add that are some ways to really kind of overcome the struggle and be really head smart about this?
We're closing up our little shop too. We're closing it right down. So we've got only a small vestige of our original flock of sheep, such as they were, and about 20 to 30% of them will go and be sold in the mutton market tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, in my case, I jokingly say that I've got rid of the two-headed and five-legged sheep, the obvious problems, but I've been saying to people I'm getting rid of the ugly sheep now, and these sheep are sheep with broken mouths. Their teeth are starting to chip as they're getting older, and they'll be less able to have good bite sizes or function on this really dry country.
Yeah.
And so this is the humane way to divest yourself of those animals and not be a total loss of equity in their value. So I've put a rattle mark on the poles, the top of the head of sheep that have chipped teeth or broken mouths, and or gum teeth. They get long in the teeth, loose teeth, and they'll be going on the trailer and off to market in about half an hour.
Yeah.
And then that'll be it.
That's it.
It's really sad. Like, we've known these animals for many years.
For some time.
Yeah, and so it upsets Danielle very greatly because they've been really stoic, tough sheep that have done well for us and for themselves. Yeah, so one is personal awareness and awareness of your friendship network and looking after yourself, people around you, and then your very immediate community.